Welcome to the Secret Recipe Podcast. I'm your host, Mz.Skittlez. Guys, we're on another episode of The Secret Recipe, and I'm sitting here
Am I
with...
the secret? Am I
You
a secret?
are the secret,
okay.
and you have the recipe.
All right.
Oh my God, you guys, I'm super excited to just allow my audience to hear your story. Clinton, you have done amazing things, right? And your story is so amazing, and I resonate with it so much. First of all, we both came from single parents, right? And just exploring ourselves and our identities and like finding ourselves in the music industry. Just go back and tell us a little bit more on how you got here today.
Yikes, that is a lengthy story, Skittles. Wow, personal or just the business side of it?
Both.
That's way too long.
Okay, but there are some things that happened in your personal journey
but see, here's the thing. When
impacted you.
For sure, but there's so many sequences that happened throughout my life that have then moved me forward, or I learned from and knew how to pivot from. So a lot of people will have, like you told me your story, which is really interesting, right? Where it's like you started doing this thing because that thing led to this thing, and then that thing led to this thing, and then you would realize mine wasn't so linear. It was a lot of like all over the place. And when you take like the business and the personal, and then it all came together and made me, like yours was very streamlined. Not to change.
Kind
well,
of.
You know what I'm saying? From what the story you told me, right?
Yes, of course.
Of course, there's a lot of nuances and stuff throughout it.
Yes.
But it was like from sexual abuse to alcoholic father to being bullied to being homeless as a teenager to not graduating high school to then hurting my spinal cord and having to get surgery, and I never even graduated high school, so I couldn't do hard labor. So it's like, what am I going to do now? So like, there's so many things that went on throughout my life that, plus all of the things I was exposed to since I was in, single-digit age, that gave me such a robust view of the world and the people in it and the different cultures that existed, that I could see things differently than most of the people around me. And I would have a different perspective that, especially being younger, nobody agreed with. Everyone would say I was wrong. I don't know what I'm talking about. But it would come from their limited experience to understand that I'm thinking like this, you're thinking like this. Yeah. But what I realized as I got older, for me to say that out loud makes me a pompous prick, right? So like, I can't say, so I'll give you one example that I've come up with to kind of identify for people to say, oh, that makes sense. So you agree Superman is super, right?
Yeah.
He can fly, he's pretty strong, he has X-ray vision, right? So he's a Superman, right? Yeah. We all agree that Superman is super. Do we all not here, audience? We all agree. We have to be quiet when I ask. But the minute Superman stands on a podium and says, I'm super, all of a sudden he's an asshole, right? Because he recognizes his own powers. Yes. But to the rest of the world, now you're a dickhead because you think you're so special and super. Well, I am. Didn't you just fucking see me fly? You know what I mean? So I've had a lot of that issue individually throughout my life, being somebody that can see so many things and not wanting to have to wait for you to keep up or catch up and show you, just trust me, I know. Yeah. So when I was young, that would happen a lot. But we're all from the same hood, and we're all the same. So they're looking at, well, you just like me. Why would you know? Yeah. Especially you're a white dude. So why would you know what's better for us to do as rappers, right? And so it would happen throughout my entire career that at one point, two of my friends had said to me, why do you focus on trying to build everybody else up? Just focus on Clinton Sparks. And well, the minute I stopped trying to convince everybody what I was saying is right, or this is best for you, or dedicating my time, my money, my finances, my resources when I was young, and them not respecting it, appreciating it, or taking advantage of it. Because what would happen is I'd started becoming popular as a DJ. So the artists that I always wanted to be behind the scenes. I never wanted to be the guy out front. So when I would go and get features or press up vinyl and, executive produce their project, get them shows and do all these things, but then like The Source or MTV wanted to talk to me, they would look at it like, oh man, it's all about you. You're the one on MTV. And I'm like, yeah, but what you don't understand is the more power that I get, the more opportunities and doors I can walk through to help you. Yes. I'm not making it about me. And I've never, my entire career, have been about me, even though I was a very early adopter of self-branding. So in 2000, when I created Clinton Sparks Get Familiar, which is my brand and my tagline, I was following what major corporations have done. So for the first decade of my career, everybody laughed at me. I was like, what you talking about? You a brand, man, you a DJ, right? And they didn't understand the concept of it. So much so that even when I was on my radio stations, I would be hitting like, get familiar on all my stuff to brand myself and like, you know that I'm on right now. Yeah. And like the program director would call and say, stop hitting that get familiar. And I'm like, all right, cool. And then I'd keep hitting it, right? And then one story in particular, I know I'm just going all over, but
it's okay. I'm enjoying this ride.
One story in particular is one of the program directors of the station that I was a DJ on in Boston calls me into the office and says, we have a problem. So I'm like, what's the problem? Well, we got our diaries back. And for anybody that doesn't know what a diary is, it's what radio stations send out to the community to fill out what do you like most about the station, what kind of music do you like, and whatnot. So what we found out was more people recognize Get Familiar than Hot 97.7. Wow. And he goes, that's a problem. I go, the only problem that I see is that you're not listening to me when I tell you how to market and brand this station. Yeah. And if you did, then you would see that you'd be bigger than my name. But because I understand and you don't listen, my brand is becoming bigger than the actual station itself. Now, when you talk to people like that, and by the way, I'm discovering this even now. Like I'm learning more about psychology and emotions and other people as I grow. We constantly improve.
Yes.
As dope as you think you are, you can be doper. You know what I'm saying? So I know I'm dope. But I also know I can work on continually be doper.
This episode and conversation is powered by The Bakery Cowork, the largest female-focused co-working space for aspiring women.
So when I explained that to him, instead of saying good point, which makes sense to a logical thinker, right? Yeah. Well, shit, maybe we should listen to you more. I was met with, well, we're going to fire you because you're outshining us. And it's kind of been a common thread throughout my career that, you know, you may know Bozoma St. John, a good friend of mine. She had said one time, don't let others dim your light.
Oh, so we have to talk right here because being a marketing strategist, owning a marketing firm for over 6 years now, I've always known branding. I came from the music industry. I've always been a brand. I've been Skittles since I was 17 years old. Everyone knew me. I've always had a very popular Instagram.
Now, was that before the candy? Or?
No, this is no, this is after the candy.
It sounds like Skittles knew good branding.
Yes,
because they made you call yourself Skittles.
Skittles knew good branding that I tapped onto. And on top of that, I've always felt like when it came to my clients, I had to humble myself a little bit when I'm in the room with them because I never wanted to be bigger than my client. Even though they know that the information that is coming from my head on me telling them how to say, what to do, how to walk, how to look in front of the camera, how to be on social media, like that's all information that is helping their brand grow. But when I walk into a room and there's someone, a fan there, they're like, oh my God, Skittles, can I take a picture?
And you have to be like, yo, chill.
No, I'm at work. Like, no, immediately no.
Because you know what? You know what's funny about that? The normal person would be insecure and be like, man, you just worried all about you. You're making it about you. And you're like, dude, I'm not making it about me. I'm just dope, and people like that I'm dope and want to be around that dope. I can't help it. In that moment, that probably happened to you.
Absolutely. I mean, I've turned down so many articles. If I'm working with a client, and say we're sitting on the couch and you're my client and you're like, hey, I want to be on Forbes. And I'm like, okay, you know, months down the line, Forbes emails me and they're like, we want to run an article on you. And I'm like, oh, like, I know that you want to run this article, but I have a client that wants this more than I wanted. So I've been giving my opportunities up, and I've always felt like I had to dim my light to play a major role as the person behind the camera. How often do you feel like that is in the entertainment industry? How many people are dimming their light to push their talent forward?
A lot, I think. Those that I don't. Well, let's start with how many people actually have bright lights, right? So there's not a lot of bright lights.
Yeah.
But those that are bright, I see. You know, to your story, I've seen like people have to like dim their light because it shined brighter than the person who's supposed to be in the room, the bright light.
Yeah.
So they get insecure, they get intimidated, jealous. So they'll start hating on you or start having feelings towards you. So I would say to people that are watching now that, you know, if that happens, one, you're probably not supposed to be where you're at, right? And then second of all, if you worked really hard and you've brightened your light by putting in the work, by being great, by listening, by learning, by constantly delivering, being consistent, win, repeat, right? If you know that you've done that, not just your personal taste, because a lot of people think they're fire,
Yeah.
right? And it's like, and slow
Have
down.
no receipts,
Yeah, come on, man.
no
Like,
track
chill out,
record.
right? All right, and like a lot, like what is real fire, right? And that's a real receipts, and also being consistent. We all can get lucky one time, right? Anyone can get lucky. When you can continually do it, that's not luck anymore. That's you understand the formula of doing great business and treating people well, and people want to support that. And they want to celebrate that. Those that don't are the ones that are fearful or jealous that you're going to outshine them.
Yes. I often felt like when I walk into certain rooms, I'm like, okay, I'm hiding my light behind someone else that doesn't have shine at all, but because my light is behind them, I'm putting them out there. But
You're giving them the glow
yeah,
around
I'm
them.
giving them the glow
So
around them.
wait,
So
this is a good concept. You shine so bright that you standing behind somebody, your glow gives the illusion that they're glowing, but it's yours.
Yes. But then in my field, when I go home, I start to wonder, well, where is my glow? Like, what do I say? I've given it to everyone else. I've spoken to everyone else. I told them what to say. I've told them how to be. And essentially, is that a part of me? Like, did I give someone that didn't have anything, that didn't have a voice, my voice? And now when I come out, are people going to think that I'm talking like her when really she's talking like me? You know what I'm saying? So that was definitely one thing.
But see, now when you do that to somebody with confidence or someone that's great, they're going to shine the light back on you.
Yes.
But we're in an industry where most people don't do that. It's rare. Like behind closed doors, there's a lot of people that would be like, yo, Clinton Sparks, if it wasn't for him, blah, 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 blah. But they would never publicly, without being coerced or asked a question that they'd have to straight lie if they didn't bring up my name.
Yes.
So like, but I go through my life just shining light, shining light, shining light, shining light, and I don't expect anybody to shine it back on me.
Yes.
What I do expect, or what I would like, is just acknowledgement and respect that I did that for you.
Yes.
That's it. You don't have to run around and tell the world, but just as long as I feel that you respect it.
Yes.
And that's where I think a lot of people miss is just giving the acknowledgement to you. So like say you did it to me. Let's just use me and you as an example. Let's say like I'm just coming up and I'm not really known. You got a lot of pull and connections and respect in the industry. And because you're in the room with me, it makes me look fly because you're down with me. Yep. I'm going to recognize that. I'm self-aware. That's one of the things that most people are deficient in is self-awareness. Yeah. Be really self-aware to recognize what you did for me. Yes. I'm going to not only send you a handwritten Cartier card, but I'm also going to pull you to the side at the end of the night and say, thank you so much. I know how much energy and time and work you put in to build these respectful relationships that I'm now benefiting from. Yes. Most people, I don't know anybody that really does that.
I know, and I'm like, how do we make that popular, right? Because I think that people think when a relationship is ending or if something, is over, you just have to be like, oh, I'm done. I'm not with them. Instead of where is the gratitude in how far you guys came together? Where is that moment where you reach back? Like for me in my life journey, everyone that has helped me be more successful, everyone that has opened the door for me that others closed, I still go back to this day and thank them. I still go back to thank the person that walked me into Magic Trade Show and introduced me to my first artist. And, all of those things, I still thank those people because I know that, in 2020, my company did double-digit millions. I wouldn't have gotten there without that one person almost 10 years ago opening that first door,
Right. Well, when you have that many people in your life that help you throughout your journey, it's probably going to be difficult to remember everybody.
Yeah.
that helped you. But if you just live your life full of gratitude,
Yes.
and you're just always treating everybody as if they did do something for you, even if they didn't, even those that hated on you. Like, my wife has gotten me several times for people that have done me wrong. She's like, how are you not worked up? I'm so mad. Like, I'm mad for you, da-da-da. I'm like, what does that do for me? Yeah. I go, now I know that kind of personality. Now I know that person. Now I know what landmine to avoid stepping on when I see the signs that this person showed me that I didn't see prior, right? So like, a lot of people just are filled with anger, and they're reactionary to that anger and their emotions. And like, look, even myself, like this, of course, there's going to be times where my girl does something that I told her to do something different. Like, if you just listen to what I said, we're not superhuman.
Yes.
We're all going to make mistakes. So anybody that's giving you like fake inspiration or motivation, or even like the respectable life coaches or gurus, like, they're not perfect.
Yeah.
And I think people look at them as like, oh my God, they must never do any wrong. They must be the most exciting people to hang out with. Like, no, they still pass gas.
Yeah.
They still don't like the same show you like. There's still going to be something, they get angry that somebody cuts them off.
Yes,
like, they're still going to swear or something. Like, we have to stop giving this fake illusion that people are on this high pedestal, that it's unrealistic. Whether it's you can be a billionaire by 19 with passive income sitting on a beach by doing nothing, like, lies.
Yes.
Whether it's like people saying, you know, there's just so much, the internet just throws up lies all over you every day.
Yes.
And the problem is that people accept it and they believe it. And they're paying attention to the message, not the messenger, right? And the messenger is very important. Yes. Anybody can spew some great sounding shit. Yes. And they can just regurgitate something somebody else said, or aggregate a bunch of information and sound like they have super experience, but they don't know what it's really like, when to pivot, what you're going to feel emotionally, when to dump somebody, they're just going because they went to Gary Vee's conference, or they watched Grant Cardone's video and like, oh, well, this is the way you're supposed to do it. Just like Mike Tyson said, yeah, it's easy until you get punched in the fucking face. Yeah. You know what I mean? And then it's like a whole, and that's the world. Yes. The world's out to punch you every day. But if you understand psychology, emotions, marketing, people, if you listen, the whole world's talking. So when you're looking for answers, it's not hard to find. If you're a guy and you want to know how to be a good guy to your girl, listen to fucking girls talk. Yes. You know what I mean? It's not hard to figure out. Talk. It's not hard to figure out. Yep. Right? Or if you want to like start a business and understand, look at those people that have started several businesses and want to share how they failed, where they won, and all that. Not just sell you a course, not just sell you a book. Yeah. People that want to give game. Like me, for instance, I started selling books and courses a couple years back, made 7 figures, right? And I just decided 2 weeks ago that if I personally, Clinton Sparks, wants to contribute to the world being a better place, it starts with helping people become better. Yes. And then you just gotta hope that them becoming better will make the world better. Yes. So I've decided to never sell anything again. It's all free. All my books, my courses, my workshop that I've spent tens of thousands of my own dollars. Wow. Never mind 20 years of experience and hundreds of thousands to gain this experience and knowledge. But I want to help. What I really care about is helping people win. Wow. I don't care about their money. You know what I want in return? To share your success story with me. That's what I want. I want you to help your family. I want you to be a better dad. I want you to be a better man to your girl. Wow. I want you to care about your neighbor more. And if I can help you be better, because honestly, in all my books and workshops, even though they're about the music business, 90% of it is like how to be a better person. Yeah. Right?
I mean, I think I always get so intrigued when I sit with people that have been in the music industry, because it's a little bit of grit and tenacity and, you know, just that resilience that people in the music industry have more than anybody in the whole wide world.
And Northeastern people. Yeah. Hey, all of us from up in New York and Boston and Jersey, and like we had to fight. It was we're freezing. You know what I'm saying? So and where I came from, you know, you were getting, you know, either beat by your dad, or your dad was an alcoholic, or you were being molested and it was freezing cold and like that. So like that's why when you think of like the Bens, the Matts, the Marks, the Donnies, like all of us from Boston, everybody says there's something in the water. Yeah. But it's not. One, we just want you to do the right thing, and we're going to fight for the right thing. And I come from a city where we could knock each other out in a fight and pick each other back up and go have a beer. Yeah. And be like, all right, dude, just don't fucking be a dick anymore. You know what I mean? It just seems like we live in a world now where people want to cancel you. Like, I'm not a fan of cancel culture. I wish that we had a world of counsel culture. Because the young generation has been misled, misguided, and misinformed. And the internet is the culprit.
Yes.
And most people don't have parents, right? So they don't have people telling them. And then even a lot of parents are shitheads. So it's like, so if we counsel the young generation rather than cancel people, then it like, because look, there's a bunch of kids that are gonna, they grew up differently on the internet, so they're learning different set of standards and rules, and like, even like
it's like the internet is now parenting the kids.
And they're the worst parents ever.
Yes, versus like parents. Back in the day, I can tell you many times that I got in trouble for certain things, and now the internet is like, oh, you shouldn't do this because this is not viral, or this is viral, or
well,
this is what's
that's
good.
a whole nother thing of telling you
oh
how
my goodness.
your concept is basically telling you what makes you worthy.
Yeah.
Right? Or what gives you value. Here, use this hashtag, use this, because if you do these tricks that we've now created, it makes you more popular, which now assigns importance.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So now everybody feels in order to be important, they have to have 1 million likes or views or streams, or, you know, doing 100 different things at once and trying to oversell you at all the great things they're good at. And it's like, dude, now I don't think you're just a clusterfuck of what the fuck.
Yeah,
I don't even know what you are.
Yes.
And you don't even know who you are. So it's like the world needs to slow down.
Yes.
Everybody needs to stop worrying about growing up too fast. Everybody needs to erase, you know, validity or worthiness of who they are as a human being to their numbers and their likes and their comments and their plays and their streams. You got to delete all. It's driving people to suicide and depression.
So let's talk about that a little bit, because my sister committed suicide my senior year of high school, and I think that enough people don't talk about mental health, especially in the entertainment industry. I think that there are really amazing, talented people that aren't made to be celebrities, and they end up getting canceled or ridiculed because they just want to share their talent with the world, but they're not ready for all the celebrity and the feedback and the, you know, like I sit back and I watch a lot of celebrities like Summer Walker and the Frank Oceans of the world, and they.
Yo, I don't mean to cut you off, but can I have a hug?
Yes!
Your sister, I'm sorry to hear that.
It's okay. I'm better. It made me much stronger. Like, my high school years was very tough, but it woke me up to understanding like the mind much more. So like, one thing about me, I'm 35 years old and I've never drank or smoked, ever. What? Wow, that is amazing. I've never drank or smoked because like I was 16 years old and I was reading my sister's autopsy, and she had so much, you know, in it, and I was like, well, it had to be one substance that took her over. Like, it had to be one substance that was like, yeah, this can't be my life anymore, you know? So for me, I've worked in the music industry. I mean, I've been around everybody, and they're like, you don't want to drink, you don't want this, you don't want that. And I'm like,
I'm a DJ. Hello,
absolutely.
here's free bottles.
I'm like, absolutely not, because I just knew myself, and I knew that my mind was not that strong yet at those ages to be able to handle what comes after that, you know? Mm-hmm. So what do you feel about
that goes back to the world gives you the answers already.
Yeah.
The answers are there. What happens when you drink or do drugs?
Yeah.
Smoke cigarettes, drive fast in your car past the speed limit, cheat on your girl, steal from somebody. You go to jail, you die, you get sick, you get diseases. Like, the answers are there. Yeah. Just don't do it. It's the case studies have proven, here's what's going to happen when you do these things. Why are you playing with fire? Like, I don't get it.
I think that most people, it's popular to play with fire, you know? It's kind of like...
Well, that goes back to when you were saying a few minutes ago, how do we create the trend?
Yeah.
How you create the trend is you get people with the most influence, like a Drake, like the young artists out here, to start saying, I mean, if Jay-Z can make everybody change clothes at his popularity, you know, somebody like Drake can get people to, you know, open a bank account, can care about health insurance, can, hey man, let's not do this, let's not cheat on our girls. Hey, let's pay our child support. Hey, let's like all of these things that's like, oh, that's the cool thing. If you give somebody a sense of pride to do these things, it makes them now want to brag. Yeah, man, I don't even drink no more.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like, yeah, I took care of my son and I did this. Even though I don't like his mom, I still made sure his tuition was paid for. Yes. When you make that just as cool, as opposed to all the dumb shit that gets you nowhere, you create a whole better world.
Yes.
So that's to answer your question, how do we get there? The people that have the most influence need to step up and take charge. And I don't care if they say they're not, you know, role models, and I don't, because they are. And it comes with the territory.
Yes.
It's like me saying, just because I put a baby in you doesn't mean I got to take care of it. Yeah, it comes with the job. It comes with the territory. When you become a celebrity and a star doing what you like to do and you're making all this money and people are buying tickets, buying your merch, following you enough that you're posting, you're obviously posting because you know you have influence.
Yes.
So if you know you have that influence, take it at all times, even when it comes to being responsible.
That is so deep. So you work with, I mean, your catalog and the people that you work with are amazing. I mean, from Lady Gaga to just the best of them. Like, how did you get there? Like, you started off being a DJ, and then what was that moment where you're like, okay, I'm gonna start songwriting. I'm gonna start.
So I didn't start as a DJ. I started off as a producer and a rapper and a dancer.
What?
Yeah, so I would like win talent shows. I choreographed the cheerleaders at my school. Yeah, so I was always like, back when I was young, we had dual cassette decks, right? And like turntables on the stereo. So I used to listen to the radio. The radio was my best friend. I didn't have friends. I was a lonely weirdo.
Wow.
So like the radio was my best. Everything I know, I learned from my radio. And I used to record songs, and people won't know unless you're old. I would record, right? So I'd make versions of the song that would loop a part on a tape, and I would start trying to rewrite a different song to that same beat as a kid. So that's how I started songwriting, and then producing. I would just start, over my friend's house, and I think I stole my first like EPS 16 plus. And then I was when I was a teen, I was a criminal. I robbed houses, stole cars, stuck people up. Yeah. So, but it was to survive. It wasn't to be cool.
Right.
I didn't tell anybody. Like, even coming up in hip hop, I never talked about what I did coming up, which I could have earned stripes.
Right.
Man, y'all ain't doing just selling dime bags. They should stick people up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I wasn't proud of it because it's fucking whack.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And like, and I could get into the story of what made me stop doing that, but like, that was like years of me committing crimes to then fulfill my music. But like, I was winning, talent shows, and then I became a producer in my city. So I was like the guy to like go get beats from. And then I realized that no record labels or people would listen to my beats because I befriended the local radio DJ, and I'd make remixes to all the popular songs, The Boy Is Mine, 112, all that stuff. And he'd play it on his radio show. And when they would call him, record executives would call and say, hey, I'm calling about my records. He'd be like, hey, you should listen to my buddy Clinton Sparks, who remixed one of your songs. And they'd be like, oh, yeah, cool. But yo, what's up with my record? So in that moment, I was like, if I become a DJ, they'll want to be my friend.
Yes.
And at the very least, give me a courtesy listen because I have something to offer them. So that's when I learned value add, right, as a teenager. I need to be more valuable to them than they are to me.
Yes.
Which is an ongoing
thing. That's
thing.
a gem. I hope you guys write down and take that away. Value add. I think so many people in this day and age don't understand how to add value, but yet they want to be a part of someone's life.
Oh, so that's what made me a DJ, but I'll give you a story about that. So there's a mixtape, a classic mixtape I did with Pusha and Clips. It was called We Got It For Cheap Volume 2. At the time, it was like Rolling Stone's top 50 album of the year. It literally put them on tour. Like, it really broke Clips out even bigger and better than they were. So we did Volume 1, didn't do well because Pusha wanted to do it his way. And then when we came to 2, I was like, all right, we got to do it my way now. That's the marketing. Yeah. But he'll even admit to it. There's a video out there where he talks about Clinton just understood, right? Yeah. And he was mad at me because I understood the internet, and I also understood the psychology of the kids that would actually like them, that they weren't talking to. Wow. They were just talking to hood dudes. They didn't realize all these white kids would love them and be intrigued by them.
Wow.
So I come from both worlds, so
yeah,
I get
so
how
you
to
could cross it.
So I put the whole artwork together for one, then we did the mixtape and I put it out. So then the success was what it was. And then years later, I seen them on MTV, and somebody asked them like about the success of that project. And they were like, well, Clinton Sparks is probably buying houses off of that mixtape. And it really hurt my feelings because I was like, because Who Kid and Clue and all those guys, they were like buying Lambos every mixtape because they were making so much money. So like, I was like, dude, if I made $1, I would have given you half. So they thought I was selling it and making a shit ton of money, but I wasn't. I was doing it to help them because I believed in them. And so when I finally ran, and by the way, it cost me money because I'm printing up these mixtapes. I'm checking them in the airport when I fly around the world to DJ to give them out for free to promote my friends, the clips, right? So when I finally seen him, because his number changed by that point, and I walked up to him, I pulled him aside, I go, do you actually think I made a lot of, he's like, yeah, it's cool, it's all. I go, no, it's not cool. I would have never made money and not shared it with you. But like, that's the world we live in that you would expect. I would never, my entire career to this day, even as successful as I am, I'll still do things for free. I still go out of my way to help other people. I don't think I'm above anybody or better. We're all the same, we're all just trying to make the world a better place and do things to help each other do dope shit, right? So, you know, to this day, I always add value, and I've never asked anybody for a favor if I didn't already figure out how I can do something of equal or greater value than what I'm asking of you. And that's the problem with the young generation. They feel entitled. They feel like they should get this. In their mind, they think they're dope enough to deserve this at 21. And it's almost like, bro,
no skin in the game.
Yeah, it's like, dude, and by the way, there's obviously some anomalies that are definitely, you can see the future for them. It's like, this guy needs my guidance, let me help him. But the majority are just like, yo, I'm the illest motherfucker in the world, blah, blah, blah. Well, show me how you're ill. Then I'll like go to their social media and like, there's nothing ill happening there. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, are you doing good for the world? Are you posting entertaining stuff? Are you, what kind of person are you? Yeah. So like, and I would 100% work with somebody based on who they are as a person, way more than I would of their numbers or their popularity. Absolutely. And I've done it over and over again. I mean, case in point, DJ Snake. Do you know who DJ Snake is? So I discovered and signed DJ Snake.
Oh, wow, I did not know that.
Yeah, he was signing me for 13 years. Yeah, I introduced him to Little John. We made Turn Down for What, Let Me Love You, all those records, right? But even prior to that, we've produced platinum records together for Gaga, Pitbull, you know, Plies. We got a Grammy nomination together before Turn Down for What even came out. Nobody knew who Snake was. Wow. I used to put him on my DJ sets and let him DJ in my set. He was the guy that couldn't even hardly speak English from Paris. Wow. But I could see there's something dope about this dude. And him and his other buddy, Chami, were dope producers. So when they came up to me in a Paris party, in a basement party that I was DJing with the Beat the CDs, I got the Beat the CDs for you. You know, I was like, man, me and my manager at the time were like, yo, this dude is dope. Let's work with him. But so there's a difference from when you can see someone's tenacity, their appetite to win. Like even I knew he felt uncomfortable coming up to me. Even to this day, he doesn't feel comfortable talking English. To this day.
Wow.
Yeah, so like back then, like imagine what he would have had to, the nerve he had to come up with. He didn't come and sell me or oversell me or tell me he's the hottest motherfucker in France or none of that shit. He said, I'm a fan of what you do. I got a CD of beats. I'd like for you to listen to them and I'd like to work with you. Yeah. Right? So in that moment, he was adding value to me because if he can provide me more production, I can get more work. Yeah. So and a lot of people don't do that, and it's rare when you find people today that are willing to do things for free, that are willing to pay dues, and that know their role, right? And what I mean by knowing their role is like, let's say I did sign you as a producer. Well, it's different for me because I'm super generous. But like the average person that would sign you, as I'm talking, I'm realizing there's different people, and some people are assholes and are going to use the shit out of you. Yeah. And then there's some people that are, so like, I guess you have to weigh it out, right? Yeah. And that's where somebody like me will help you understand and teach you how to figure that out in my free books and courses and stuff like that, to be like, all right, once you've been working with someone for a year and they're still treating you like you're just like a dog, that's not a good person to continue working with. Yeah. You've learned some lessons, maybe you've got some value out of it, find somebody else. Yep. Right? But then you'll find somebody else that's like really good to you. It's splitting the money with you fairly. Yes. That's maybe going out of his way to do something special for you that you didn't expect. Yes. That's somebody you want to be with forever because they're always going to take care of you. But you, again, you got to pay attention to the messenger, not the message. You have to also do your research and due diligence of who you're getting into business with, and then monitor that, and then understand your worth and your value, This is a lot, man. Like,
Man, oh my God, this is so amazing and so good, and I just resonate with this so much because obviously I've been through so much in the entertainment industry, managing people, marketing people. I've just been through it all, and I understand wholeheartedly what you're saying. And I think that I'm so glad that you're putting out your classes and your books free to people because so many people get into this game and they may come in with a heart of gold, and by the time they leave they have a heart of stone because all of the people that they went through that did them wrong, or now they become, oh, I don't want to work for free because the last person, but it's like you missed it with that person.
Right.
What about this is a bigger opportunity and a relationship that could get you even further on the route, but now your heart is like solid.
right. And there's so many people out here that are slanging courses and books and workshops that, like, maybe did one thing well, or maybe they had one song get 5 million streams or whatever it is. So now, like, they're a guru of everything in the music business, right? So that's the other issue that people need to be mindful of too, is like, when you go to college, you don't learn everything from one teacher, right? So you have to, like, listen to the people that are specialists in those things. I'm been fortunate enough that I've won from DJ, producer, songwriter, manager, publisher, artist. Like, I've won in every single facet, and I know everything from, the president of the company all the way down to the consumer, and then everything from PR to marketing, everything in between. So when I'm giving you information, one, I don't need anything back from you, and I'm not charging you. So why would you not listen to somebody that wants you to win and has done all these things very well? By the way, in my course is everybody from DJ Paul to Yo Gotti to, like, the best of the best are in my course teaching you, and I'm giving it to you for free. From Spotify playlists and to marketing to creating the right content to build your YouTube audience to how to mix your records right, from Grammy winning.
That is insane.
But here's the thing, I genuinely give a shit.
Yeah.
Right? Most people are out here to just make money off other people or unsigned or independent artists that don't know better. So if I want to stand out and be different than all those guys and not be lumped into all these people that I don't necessarily respect or what they're doing, then I need to just, what? Instead of competing with you guys, or instead of, like, trying to show people that I know more than you guys, how about I just give it all for free? What are you going to do now?
So what are 3 things that you say that you learned from the industry? What are 3 things that you're like, man, if my whole career could have taught me 3 things, it taught me this? Patience.
If you need something from somebody or you set a goal for yourself, it doesn't have to happen tomorrow. And by the way, it not happening tomorrow could open up other doors that you didn't know existed because you were so focused on that. And if that didn't happen, like, oh, everything sucks now, or that person's an asshole, or now they're hating on me. And it's like, I know we all know that everything happens for a reason, but if you backtrack your entire life and look at, oh shit, if I reverse engineer how I got here, shit, last year when I was super mad at that thing, if that didn't happen, I wouldn't be here. If everybody did that, right? So when I started my career when I'm like, okay, I can't do hard labor, I didn't graduate high school, music, there's no plan B. When I did that, I gave myself a 5-year plan in 2000 just for record labels to just know my name to take my call. That's all I had, a small goal,
wow.
5 years.
No one does that.
Within 3 years, I became the radio DJ of the year at the Grammys for DJs. I became new mixtape DJ of the year at Justo's annual mixtape awards, which was the Grammys for mixtape DJs in New York City. I got my first major label placement, $15,000 check for producing a record. I opened up the world's biggest mixtape website, mixunit.com, made $5 million the first year.
Wow.
And then I conceived a website called World Star Hip Hop.
Wow.
So, like, and that was like, and then I started building my own syndicated radio show in 22 markets.
Wow.
Right? So, like, if you set realistic goals for yourself, one, and you work hard, you're bound to outdo them. Two, another thing to do is keep score, right? If you don't keep score of your wins or your losses, you don't know where you are in the game, right? So if you're just running around like, yeah, I'm just trying to get going, I'm trying to get this deal, cool, great idea. What's the plan? Yep. Right? So I think most people don't make a plan, they have an idea. And there's a big difference. And I can elaborate on that, but that's also in my free books.
That is so
And then the third
good.
thing I would say, which is, there's a lot more than three, but don't be a dick. Now, that's the number one thing is like, I remember coming up in the music industry, sitting in offices of some of the biggest executives, and I'm like pitching my heart out, like, and they're on their two-way pager, or they're like, yeah, can you order me a sub down the street? Well, like if you've seen Kanye's Genius and you see him in the offices, so me and him came up at the same time. We did a lot of stuff together. Some of those scenes, I'm with him after that.
Wow.
Right? So like the way that you see him in offices still rapping when like there's things going on, like that, I was the DJ version of him.
Wow.
Right? So I'm in the offices like pitching ideas. This is what you should do with your artist. Let me help you brand this, da-da-da-da. And I would be ignored all the time. And I realized, and there was times I literally would be talking, and I'd be like, yeah, man, so if we just do this, and when I noticed they weren't paying attention, yeah, and then I just got slapped in the face with 3 dicks, and then they put it in my ass, and I left, right? And they're like, my manager, and I would literally, and they'd be like, oh yeah, that's what's up, and I'd look at my manager like, let's go, man. And I would literally leave. And the ironic thing about that is 3 of those executives who were at the top when I was coming up have all fallen off. And since then, have all called me. But wait, let me tell you, this is the important part. They've all called me. Yo, I see you're doing things, you're in the gaming space, you're writing books, you da-da-da-da, you all these companies still killing it music. Like, how can I get down, or how can I help, or how can I work? The average person would be like, man, fuck you. You wasn't with me when I was in the gym. You know what I'm saying? Or you used to shit on me. But this is what goes back to being a genuine person that cares. I don't hold on to grudges. I never have. I'm not good at holding on to grudges.
Me neither. Right? I don't like that though.
Right. So, but what I will do.
I don't like that part of me.
No, it's good.
I will forget. I'm like, oh wait, I forgot that we didn't like each other.
It's okay to forget.
Okay.
But what I always do, and I'm very honest and transparent with people, and all of them I've said to them, yeah, man, good to hear from you. Da-da-da. We'll talk for a few. And I go, let me talk to you for a minute though. I go, remember when I was coming up? And I tell them. And I go, you were a super asshole to me. I was? And I'm like, yeah, and I'll tell them the things like, oh man, I'm sorry. You gotta give them a chance to apologize.
Oh wow.
You gotta give people a chance to recognize
it's that
they
one
were
right
an
there.
asshole.
It's that one
Everybody
right there.
doesn't know that they were an asshole. Self-awareness, back to the beginning of this conversation. Yeah. If somebody can acknowledge, take responsibility, apologize, and move on, that's one of the keys to life, man. Like, what else do you expect from somebody? Yep. So now I'm cool with them all again.
So for me, I think what I would say that has literally changed my life about the music industry is the people that you see at the top, be nice all the way. When you're on the bottom and you're going up, be nice to everybody because you're gonna see them coming down. Like the elevator goes up and down. And I remember when I was a music artist and I'm like, oh my God, I need you on this song and I need you here and I want you to do this show with me and I want you to do this. And they're like, oh no, oh, that's just Skittles, oh, blah, 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 no, she's just my opener. And now I have this marketing agency, I have the largest co-working space for female entrepreneurs, and now they all are contacting me, and I'm always like, oh my God, yeah, sure, feel free to book, or hey, how can we work together? But I never forgot how you treated me in that moment. But I feel like now I'm in a different space where if my business can help you, like, I'm here to help.
The only thing you should take from somebody treating you poorly is the lesson on how you shouldn't treat other people. So holding on to animosity or anger or revenge, it's never has a good ending. It's just polluting your own goodness and greatness. Yes. And if your goal is to be dope, holding on to that stuff is not part of dope.
Yes. In closing, what are some of your favorite projects that you've worked on or businesses that you've built?
Well, I don't work on something unless it's my favorite at the moment.
Okay.
And I work on it to make it my favorite.
Okay.
So I love everything I do, everybody I work with, until I don't. And then I just don't work with it anymore. And I make something else my new favorite. So I'm never somewhere really where I don't want to be. And if I am, then I leave. And I have done that. But my favorite projects, I guess I would say the one right now, XET. So Xset is the world's fastest growing, most diverse and inclusive lifestyle gaming brand. And I'm building the world's greatest culture club by bringing music, fashion, sports, art, entertainment, youth, culture all in kind of one thing. So everybody part of my company is Ezekiel Elliott to Austin Eckler to, T Grizzly and Sway Lee to Ozuna to, Ganga Tattoo to Nigel Sylvester. So it's like people from all these different walks of lives that I bring together under the one common denominator of like the lifestyle of gaming. And one of the narratives that I've been kind of shouting for the past couple of years is, I'm from the hood, and from the hood is like the only way you see getting out is like sports and music, right? And like gaming is the new way out. Gaming's the new hip hop. Gaming is a new way to build a career without dribbling a basketball for 16 years or without having to show off online like you're the hardest rapper banging the most chicks in the world. Like you can, and it's safe.
Yes.
You're in your house, right? And you can just have camaraderie. So many ways to make money in it. So I think that, and we play in studios, we play in barbershops, it's been part of hip hop my whole career.
Yes.
But for some odd reason, hip hop and gaming has just been like a booty call.
Yeah.
Like they've never committed. You know what I'm saying? It's like, I'm here to make that commitment where it's like, no, guys, let's do this for real and go big. And by the way, I can't reveal some of the things that I've been working on that's about to come out in a few months, but like I've been working on culturally disruptive models that's going to open the door for so many underserved communities that didn't even know this was a thing. I mean, even when I go to like Puff or Snoop or all these people, and when I was first trying to tell them, they didn't even understand how big it was or how much money's in there. They're all coming around now, but even now, everyone doesn't really understand. They know there's money.
Yeah,
they know
I think it's still so untapped, especially for that world, the minority world. It's so untapped, but it's just genius that when I'm able to sit on the couch with you and how your brain can go from like world star hip hop and developing that to now this and still using everything that you've learned and the culture and just the whole mindset, and then now tapping into this whole wave, like that's amazing.
Well, when you understand culture, when you don't just stand for it, but you stood in it, and you understand the mentality, the psychology, the emotion, the angst, the hurt, the history, you understand these things because you were actually genuinely a part of it, then when you build stuff with that as the foundation, everything's the same because it's the same mentality and the same approach. Like, for instance, I don't need a diversity department in my company because diversity is in my DNA. Like, I would feel uncomfortable being around non-diversity.
Yes.
So when you build the companies that I built, which is why I left a company called FaZe Clan that I was at before Xset, because they weren't, in my opinion, doing the right thing for my friends, like in hip hop and stuff like that. So I was like, I've always wanted to build a company that was focused on being good, being kind, caring about the people a part of it that care about it, that invest in it, and just like helping, the world at large. So if I can bring in people and help, like, look, I've been around long enough to watch rappers come and go, influencers come and go, athletes come and go. They got bad teams, they got bad companies that no one cares about them. They're just trying to get the most out of them, make the most money, and see you later. And I've always wanted to start a company that not only could I bring them into another place where I can help elevate their brand, help elevate their opportunities and financial situation off of what they've done already, but also think about their future, because most people, including them, aren't thinking about it. So if I can bring, rappers, for instance, into this gaming space and set up things that are going to get them equity in the company or stock in other brands that I bring in or ancillary businesses to build that I can actually help build for them so they're thinking past being a rapper, right? Then that's what brings me joy, is helping other people live happier lives. That's my favorite thing.
And that's the secret recipe. Like, that is your secret recipe. Your secret recipe is creating products and building businesses that help others become better. Thank you so much. We have to do a part 2 because this was so good, and I'm sure that we can hit home. It's so many things that I wanted to talk about that we didn't get to talk about in this episode. Our brains are literally like mapped together in some weird kind of way. So you guys, please follow. Please tell them where they can follow you, how they can get all of your digital products, how they can support all of your business.
Well, part 2 for you guys can be getting my books and courses because they're all free. If you follow me on Instagram at Clinton Sparks, the link's in my bio, or on all my socials, links in my bio, or clintonsparks.com.
Yes, clintonsparks.com, you guys. Thank you for another episode of The Secret Recipe.
Oh, and don't forget to follow at XSET.
Yes,
Yeah, rep the set, baby. Let me see you rep the set.
XSET.
Let's go. Get familiar, baby.
The Secret Recipe. See you guys soon.